Harley, who do you consider to be a great heel and why? Give me an example of an exemplary heel in wrestling and tell me why they were exemplary of being a heel.
Well, again, it's anybody that can go in that ring and take the person that they're in there with, and I'm sure Bruno will agree with this, that back during our era, except for him, the heel in the picture was the guy that led the direction of it. And there's a lot of people that can follow. And during our era, there was quite a few that could lead. And the ability to take anybody, when I say anybody, I personally mean that, for a period in time, I could take you in the ring or you and make it look like we were having a hell of a wrestling match.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what it's all about, right?
Yeah, really. But you're talking about the villain, but then there's just different kinds of villains. Take a, let's leave Harley aside, because we want to talk about others.
Mm-hmm.
Take a guy like Ray Stevens.
Yeah.
To me, Ray Stevens was a great villain. He was a great villain. I thought he had good ring psychology. He had the moves that he could really get to the fans, and yet, and then you had the opposite, a Killer Kowalski, for example.
Yeah.
It's two completely different styles, and yet powerful. Kowalski, there was something about Kowalski that when you wrestled Kowalski, he was constant, non-stop. And he would come after your leg or something. Next time, maybe be after your arm and shoulder. But he was Kowalski, but yet you can't say that every time you saw him, you saw the same thing. Absolutely not. Believe me, I know I wrestled this guy many times. And so you had these different kind of guys. But of course, I agree with what Harley says about what makes him great is how he's able to control things too.
All right, Bruno, I'm going to start with you with the exact same question on the babyface side. Give me an exemplary babyface and why.
Stand up, Bruno.
Boy, see, some of these questions, I kid you not, they're hard to answer, because I have seen guys, babyfaces used to name, that I personally thought were terrific, really terrific. And yet, for some reason, they just could never make it to that headline and stay there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Again, okay, in my own case, and I've gotten criticized for this, and maybe justifiably so, I don't know. But I always tried to wrestle, because I had to appear in the same clubs month after month and year after year for many years, like especially in Northeast. I used to, if I met a Bruiser Brody, I felt the best match I could have with him was a brawling match. I wrestled Ray Stevens in New York, and we did a lot of good stuff. Hans Mortier, the European, he's just wrestling. It was almost like an amateur match. I went an hour, 18 minutes with Pedro Morales in Shea Stadium, and it was strictly a great babyface match. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's hard to understand, at least for me. Maybe to some other people it's very simple. It's hard for me to understand from my part as to, like I say, what makes one over the other, because I've seen, like I said, what I call some great technicians that, in all honesty, they were given the opportunity but didn't make it. So I don't know. I don't know the answer.
What do you think, Harley? Who would you consider a great babyface worker? And why?
God, there's a ton of them that just, when you say that, pop right out at you in different ears. Even Vern Gagne, during his heyday, was as good as they got.
Pat O'Connor.
Pat O'Connor was absolutely excellent.
Did you know gentleman Jim Haiti?
Yes, I did.
He was tremendous.
There's so many during. to say the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and even into the 80s, that it'd be for me, it would be virtually impossible to pick one and say this is the guy.
So what are some of the, well, let's just say qualities then, babyface quality, was it appearance, was it,
Well, it's all of the above. It's a guy that can go in the ring and get out of the people the sympathy that he really wants to pull out. And it's between you and whoever your partner is to get that. And if you can look at Jack Briscoe. Jack Briscoe was a classic babyface, and when they made him world's champion, it was kind of like a bad fighting good, but it never came across as Jack as a pure, to me, one of the most pure baby faces there ever was. Overall, if you're trying to, pinpoint it down to who was the better of it, I can't really tell you.
no, not to, just an example I was looking for, that's fine. Harley, we'll start with you. Harder to be a successful babyface or a successful heel?
A successful babyface, because you got back during our eras, mostly the guy that people didn't like was the guy that was leading what was going on in the ring. To me, I couldn't have been that person because I wasn't really a listener.
Bruno, what do you think? Harder for a babyface or a heel?
I'd have to say it would be harder for a babyface. The reason why I say that is that a villain, if he's talented, he can go in there and be brutal to where the people want to shoot him. They want to hang him. They want to kill him. A babyface has to play. It's harder to maintain that role to keep the sympathy of the people and not lose it by overdoing this, overselling, whatever. I don't know. I think it might be a little. I think it's a little more difficult. I'm talking about to stay for longevity.
Gotcha.
Longevity wise. I've seen baby faces. I'm not going to mention this guy because I like him and I think he's a good guy. But he was good. He was very good in the Northeast. But he was so talented, and he did very well in the beginning. But then the clubs just started going and going. He couldn't maintain them. Could not maintain them.
To be that baby face, you have to be that not only in the ring, you got to be it in public, you got to be it in bars, wherever you go, you got to be that person that they're seeing on TV, and that is damn difficult to do.
Well, but also conversely, though, it's not fun probably getting batteries thrown at you from the upper deck, or people taking swings at you with a blade on the way back to the locker room. I mean, being the heel outside the ring wasn't fun either, probably.
You're creating all those problems for yourself. You need, in my position, I took it to a level. I've had my car burnt, a gallon of gas thrown in the back seat and torched. I've been stabbed. So to me, it's that part you can kind of physically handle it, but the other way around, being Mr. Nice Guy all the time, to me would be half again as tough.